5 prayers a day, and no doubt I have got an experience of the people before you, and I have tried my level best with Bani Israel, so go back to your Lord and ask for reduction to lessen your followers' burden. I said, I have requested so much of my Lord that I feel ashamed, but I'm satisfied now and surrender to Allah's order. When I left, I heard a voice saying, I have passed my order and have lessened the burden of my worshippers. Volume 5, Book 58, number 228, narrated by Ibn Abbas regarding the statement of Allah. And we granted the vision, ascension to the heavens, which we made you see, as an actual eyewitness, was only made as a trial for the people. 17.60. Ibn Abbas added, the sights which Allah's apostle was shown on the night journey when he was taken to Bayt ul-Maqdis, that is Jerusalem, were actual sights, not dreams. And the cursed tree, mentioned in the Quran, is the tree of Zakum itself. Volume 5, Book 58, number 229, narrated by Abdullah bin Ka'b, who was Ka'b's guide when Ka'b turned blind. I heard Ka'b bin Malik narrating, when he remained behind, that is, did not join, the Prophet in the Ghazwa of Tabuk. Ibn Bukhar in his narration stated that Ka'b said, I witnessed the Al-Aqaba Pledge of Allegiance at night with the Prophet, when we jointly agreed to support Islam with all our efforts. I would not like to have attended the Badr battle instead of that Aqaba pledge, although Badr is more well known than it, amongst the people. Volume 5, Book 58, number 230, narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. I was present with my 2 maternal uncles at Al-Aqaba, where the Pledge of Allegiance was given. Ibn Uyayna said one of the 2 was Al-Bara bin Marur. Volume 5, Book 58, number 231, narrated by Jabir. My father, my 2 maternal uncles and I were among those who took part in the Aqaba pledge. Volume 5, Book 58, number 232, narrated by Ubadah bin as-Samit, who had taken part in the Battle of Badr with Allah's apostle, and had been amongst his companions on the night of Al-Aqaba pledge. Allah's apostle, surrounded by a group of his companions, said, Come along and give me the pledge of allegiance that you will not worship anything besides Allah, will not steal, will not commit illegal sexual intercourse, will not kill your children, will not utter slander invented by yourself, and will not disobey me if I order you to do something good. Whoever among you will respect and fulfill this pledge will be rewarded by Allah. And if one of you commits any of these sins and is punished in this world, then that will be his expiation for it. And if one of you commits any of these sins and Allah screens his sin, then his matter will rest with Allah. If he will punish him, and if he will excuse him. So I gave the pledge of allegiance to him for these conditions. Volume 5, Book 58, number 233, narrated by Ubadah bin as-Samit. I was one of the Naqibs who gave the Aqaba pledge of allegiance to Allah's apostle. We gave the pledge of allegiance to him that we would not worship anything other than Allah, would not steal, would not commit illegal sexual intercourse, would not kill a person whose killing Allah has made illegal except rightfully, would not rob each other, and we would not be promised paradise. If we did the above sins, then if we committed one of the above sins, Allah will give his judgment concerning it. Volume 5, Book 58, number 234, narrated by Aisha. The Prophet engaged me when I was a girl of 6 years. We went to Medina and stayed at the home of Bani al-Harith bin Khazraj. Then I got ill and my hair fell down. Later on my hair grew, again, and my mother, Ruman, came to me while I was playing in a swing with some of my girlfriends. She called me, and I went to her, not knowing what she wanted to do to me. She caught me by the hand and made me stand at the door of the house. I was breathless then, and when my breathing became all right, she took some water and rubbed my face and head with it. Then she took me into the house. There in the house I saw some Ansari women who said, best wishes and Allah's blessing and a good luck. Then she entrusted me to them and they prepared me for the marriage. Unexpectedly, Allah's apostle came to me in the forenoon and my mother handed me over to him, and at that time I was a girl of 9 years of age. Volume 5, Book 58, number 235, narrated by Aisha, that the Prophet said to her, You have been shown to me twice in my dream. I saw you pictured on a piece of silk and someone said to me, This is your wife. When I uncovered the picture I saw that it was yours. I said, If this is from Allah, it will be done. Volume 5, Book 58, number 236, narrated by Hisham's father Khadijah died 3 years before the Prophet departed to Medina. He stayed there for 2 years or so, and then he married Aisha when she was a girl of 6 years of age, and he consumed that marriage when she was 9 years old. Volume 5, Book 58, number 237, narrated by Abu Wail. We visited Kababa, who said, "We migrated with the Prophet for Allah's sake, so our reward became due and sure with Allah. Some of us passed away without taking anything of their rewards in this world, and one of them was Musa bin Umar, who was martyred on the day of the battle of Uhud, leaving a striped woolen cloak. When we covered his head with it, his feet became naked, and when covered his feet, his head became naked. So Allah's apostle ordered us to cover his head and put some idkir, that is a special kind of grass, on his feet. On the other hand, some of us have had their fruits ripened in this world, and they are collecting them." Volume 5, Book 58, number 238, narrated by Umar. I heard the Prophet saying, "The reward of deeds depends on the intentions, so whoever emigrated for the worldly benefits or to marry a woman, his emigration was for that for which he emigrated, but whoever emigrated for the sake of Allah and his apostle, his emigration is for Allah and his apostle." Volume 5, Book 58, number 239, narrated by Mujahid bin Jabir al-Makki, Abdullah. Bin Umar used to say, "There is no more hijra, that is migration, after the conquest of Mecca." Volume 5, Book 58, number 240, narrated by Atta bin Abi Rabah, Ubaid bin Umar al-Laythi, and I visited Aisha and asked her about the hijra, that is migration, and she said, "Today there is no hijra emigration. A believer used to run away with his religion to Allah and his apostle lest he should be put to trial because of his religion. Today Allah has made Islam triumphant, and today a believer can worship his Lord wherever he likes, but the deeds that are still rewardable in place of emigration are jihad and good intentions." See Hadith number 42, Vol. 4, Volume 5, Book 58, number 241, narrated by Aisha Sad said, "O Allah, you know that there is none against whom I am eager to fight more willingly for your cause than those people who disbelieved your apostle and drove him out of his city. O Allah, I think that you have ended the fight between us and them." Volume 5, Book 58, number 242, narrated by Ibn Abbas. Allah's apostle started receiving the divine inspiration at the age of 40. Then he stayed in Mecca for 13 years receiving the divine revelation. Then he was ordered to migrate and he lived as an emigrant for 10 years and then died at the age of 63 years. Volume 5, Book 58, number 243, narrated by Ibn Abbas. Allah's apostle stayed in Mecca for 13 years, after receiving the first divine inspiration, and died at the age of 63. Volume 5, Book 58, number 244, narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's apostle sat on the pulpit and said, "Allah has given one of his slaves the choice of receiving the splendor and luxury of the worldly life, whatever he likes, or to accept the good of the hereafter, which is with Allah, so he has chosen that good which is with Allah." On that Abu Bakr wept and said, "Our fathers and mothers be sacrificed for you." We became astonished at this. The people said, "Look at this old man. Allah's apostle talks about a slave of Allah to whom he has given the option to choose either the splendor of this worldly life or the good which is with him, while he says, 'Our fathers and mothers be sacrifice I for you.'" But it was Allah's apostle who had been given option, and Abu Bakr knew it better than we. Allah's apostle added, "No doubt I am indebted to Abu Bakr more than to anybody else regarding both his companionship and his wealth. And if I had to take a Khalil from my followers, I would certainly have taken Abu Bakr, but the fraternity of Islam is sufficient. Let no door, that is kuka, of the mosque remain open except the door of Abu Bakr." Volume 5, Book 58, number 245, narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. I never remembered my parents believing in any religion other than the true religion, that is Islam, and I don't remember a single day passing without our being visited by Allah's apostle in the morning and in the evening. When the Muslims were put to test, that is troubled by the pagans, Abu Bakr set out migrating to the land of Ethiopia, and when he reached Bark al-Gimad, Ibn ad-Dagina, the chief of the tribe of Kara, met him and said, "O Abu Bakr, where are you going?" Abu Bakr replied, "My people have turned me out of my country, so I want to wander on the earth and worship my Lord." Ibn ad-Dagina said, "O Abu Bakr, a man like you should not leave his homeland, nor should he be driven out, because you help the destitute, earn their livings, and you keep good relations with your kith and kin, help the weak and poor, entertain guests generously, and help the calamity-stricken persons. Therefore, I am your protector. Go back and worship your Lord in your town." So Abu Bakr returned, and Ibn ad-Dagina accompanied him. In the evening Ibn ad-Dagina visited the nobles of Quraysh and said to them, A man like Abu Bakr should not leave his homeland, nor should he be driven out. Do you, that is Quraysh, drive out a man who helps the destitute, earns their living, keeps good relations with his kith and kin, helps the weak and poor, entertains guests generously, and helps the calamity-stricken persons. So the people of Quraysh could not refuse Ibn ad-Daghina's protection, and they said to Ibn ad-Daghina, "Let Abu Bakr worship his Lord in his house. He can pray and recite there whatever he likes, but he should not hurt us with it, and should not do it publicly, because we are afraid that he may affect our women and children." Ibn ad-Daghina told Abu Bakr of all that. Abu Bakr stayed in that state, worshipping his Lord in his house. He did not pray publicly, nor did he recite Quran outside his house. Then a thought occurred to Abu Bakr to build a mosque in front of his house, and there he used to pray and recite the Quran. The women and children of the pagans began to gather around him in great number. They used to wonder at him and look at him. Abu Bakr was a man who used to weep too much, and he could not help weeping on reciting the Quran. That situation scared the nobles of the pagans of Quraysh, so they sent for Ibn ad-Daghina. When he came to them they said, "We accepted your protection of Abu Bakr on condition that he should worship his Lord in his house, but he has violated the conditions and he has built a mosque in front of his house where he prays and recites the Quran publicly. We are now afraid that he may affect our women and children unfavorably, so prevent him from that. If he likes to confine the worship of his Lord to his house, he may do so, but if he insists on doing that openly, ask him to release you from your obligation to protect him, for we dislike to break our pact with you, but we deny Abu Bakr the right to announce his act publicly." Ibn ad-Daghina went to Abu Bakr and said, "O Abu Bakr, you know well what contract I have made on your behalf. Now you are either to abide by it or else release me from my obligation of protecting you, because I do not want the Arabs hear that my people have dishonored a contract I have made on behalf of another man." Abu Bakr replied, "I release you from your pact to protect me, and am pleased with the protection from Allah." At that time the Prophet was in Mecca, and he said to the Muslims, "In a dream I have been shown your migration place, a land of date palm trees between two mountains, the two stony tracts." So some people migrated to Medina, and most of those people who had previously migrated to the land of Ethiopia returned to Medina. Abu Bakr also prepared to leave for Medina, but Allah's apostle said to him, "Wait for a while because I hope that I will be allowed to migrate also." Abu Bakr said, "Do you indeed expect this? Let my father be sacrificed for you." The Prophet said, "Yes." So Abu Bakr did not migrate for the sake of Allah's apostle in order to accompany him. He fed 2 she-camels he possessed with the leaves of as-samur tree that fell on being struck by a stick for 4 months. One day, while we were sitting in Abu Bakr's house at noon, someone said to Abu Bakr, "This is Allah's apostle with his head covered coming at a time at which he never used to visit us before." Abu Bakr said, "May my parents be sacrificed for him. By Allah, he has not come at this hour except for a great necessity." So Allah's apostle came and asked permission to enter, and he was allowed to enter. When he entered, he said to Abu Bakr, "Tell everyone who is present with you to go away." Abu Bakr replied, "There are none but your family. May my father be sacrificed for you, O Allah's apostle." The Prophet said, "I have been given permission to migrate." Abu Bakr said, "Shall I accompany you? May my father be sacrificed for you, O Allah's apostle." Allah's apostle said, "Yes." Abu Bakr said, "O Allah's apostle, may my father be sacrificed for you. Take one of these 2 she-camels of mine." Allah's apostle replied, "I will accept it, with payment." So we prepared the baggage quickly and put some journey food in a leather bag for them. Asma, Abu Bakr's daughter, cut a piece from her waist-belt and tied the mouth of the leather bag with it, and for that reason she was named Dat-un-Nidakain, that is the owner of 2 belts. Then Allah's apostle and Abu Bakr reached a cave on the mountain of Thawr and stayed there for 3 nights. Abdullah bin Abi Bakr, who was intelligent and a sagacious youth, used to stay with them every night. He used to leave them before daybreak so that in the morning he would be with Quraysh as if he had spent the night in Mecca. He would keep in mind any plot made against them, and when it became dark he would go and